Plaintiff Tasha Rick says the defendant is her neighbor, and she would rather party and buy alcohol than buy food for her own children. Tasha claims the defendant's children run wild through the neighborhood and have no supervision. And Tasha is suing because she claims the defendant's 10-year-old son damaged her car. Defendant Sherry Collins insists she's a good mother who raises all 5 of her children by herself. Sherry admits that her 10-year-old son, who is accused of damaging Tasha's car, has behavioral problems. But she's not convinced that he damaged the vehicle. She's countersuing for defamation of character.
Start with you.
Okay, Your Honor. The reason why I'm here because my neighbor, Sherry Collins, she rather party than go out. Didn't take care of her kids and take care of her business.
How far do you live from her?
Well, it's like a 3-building, like townhouse. She stays in the middle and I stay on the side of her.
Okay. What type of business are you referring to?
Household business, taking care of her kids, stuff like that.
Give me an example of the household business she doesn't take care of.
Like purchasing food for her children. She rather buy alcohol than buy her kids food.
She doesn't buy her kids food?
She buys it sometimes, but if she had a choice, she'd rather get alcohol.
How do you know?
Because she has told me.
She told you
Yes, she told me that.
I don't believe you.
Okay.
Go ahead. What else you want me to know?
Okay, her kids run through the neighborhood all wild with no supervision. When it is told to her that her kids had done something, she just brushes it off and doesn't
give me an example.
Give them any consequences. Okay, for instance, her son was outside playing and the water hose got put into my dryer vent and flooded my basement and my dryer. I goes next door and tell her, she was in the kitchen, she didn't even come to the door and acknowledge me or even talk to me. She was like, my kids wasn't even outside. They didn't do that. And then her daughter was like, yes, he did, Mom. He was playing with the water hose, but she didn't know I was standing at the door. She was like, oh, what you gonna do? Tell on him? You gonna trick on him?
Okay,
and then,
let me hear from you, ma'am. Did that happen in particular?
No, it didn't. Never did happen.
This is your first time hearing this?
Yes.
Okay. And you told her that day?
Yes, and I have a
What month
witness
and
to
year
that
was
too.
that?
This was in September of 2010.
And you say you have what today?
A witness to that I was standing. Yes.
This
yes,
young
sir.
lady?
Yes, sir.
Come on up. State your name.
Victoria.
What do you want to tell me about this incident?
Well, I was currently staying with her or whatever.
With the defendant?
Right, that was my best friend. And I'm not here to like downgrade nobody, but my thing is...
Now tell me what you know happened.
I'm hearing that he was doing it too.
All right, have a seat. All right. What did you do about it?
I told the landlord about it, and he was just like, if they did something else, just keep letting me know what they do.
Okay. Who cleaned it out?
I cleaned out the basement myself, and I took the water hose off and I threw the water hose away.
Did it damage any of your property?
The dryer, I had to let it dry out for a little bit, and it still works.
Let me hear from you, ma'am.
I got 5 kids. I take care of all 5 of my kids by myself. My kids do eat. They are clothed, they bathe, they not nasty, they get good grades, everything.
What are the age ranges?
I have a 14-year-old daughter, I have a 12-year-old daughter, my 10-year-old son, and I have a 7-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son.
Okay.
All of them straight A students, get 3 and 4 points.
Do you bring in a report card with you today?
No, I wish I would have.
Did they been suspended often at all from school?
Anthony, he has a behavior problem.
That's the one that...
Yeah, that's the one that she's talking about, but it's behavior as far as students not going and doing something to other people's property. Like in school, he's ADHD, so he's hyper, and if you don't give him enough work, he's up and about.
Is he medicated?
No.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay.
Tell me what happened with this incident.
The incident with the car is just came home and took a shower from work. I heard, when I came back into my room, I heard some banging, like somebody was hitting on something. So I look outside my window and I see Anthony, her son, hitting on my vehicle. And I got dressed and I went downstairs.
You saw him doing it?
Yes.
And you immediately went downstairs?
No, I had to get dressed first because I had just got out the shower.
How long did it take you to do that?
About 10 minutes.
He was gone by then?
Actually, when I came down the stairs, he was talking to his mom because she was getting ready to get into the car to leave. But at this time, I was walking around looking at the car.
So when you saw him, you weren't prepared to go downstairs?
Right.
And you saw him out of your bedroom window?
Yes. And I had pictures of my bedroom, like the view.
Facing the
car.
All right, go ahead.
When I went down, like I said, I saw her, she was leaving and stuff like that. So I checked out my car and I looked around to see if I see anything that he was hitting the car with, and I didn't see nothing. So he had went to the park, and then after she told him not to, he had went to the park. So I knocked on her door, and her 14-year-old answered the door, and I was like, could you call your mom, because your brother had just dented up my car. So she calls her mom, and I'm talking to her mom on the phone. I was like, your son just dented up my car. I don't know what he was hitting me with, but he damaged my car. And she was like, well, he wasn't even outside. He didn't do that. And this and that and the other. I said, yes, he did. I saw him do it. And she was like, well, he didn't do it.
Ma'am, was this the conversation?
No, it was not. It was totally different from that.
What was the conversation?
Wow.
Okay, Tasha got on the phone. I spoke to her. She was like, Anthony was banging on my car. I'm like, what you talking about? She was like, Anthony was banging on my car. I got 4 dents in my car. I said, well, when did this happen? Did this happen, just now? And she was like, no, this happened like 15, 20 minutes before you left. I said, well, Tasha, you just saw me leaving. I waved by to you and everything. You didn't say nothing about Anthony had did nothing. Why didn't you say anything while I was there? And she was like, I don't know. I'm just saying he dented up my car. My car has dents up in it. What I told her is, I don't know whether he did it or not. I said, put my daughter on the phone so she can go get Anthony. I actually asked her where was Anthony.
Ma'am, did you wave goodbye to her?
No, I didn't.
Okay. And had you observed the dents before she left?
When I was coming outside, she was leaving. She was getting in the car leaving. She was talking to her kids. She pulled off.
But you saw her son beating on it.
Right.
Right. And you saw her before she left.
Right.
So why didn't you come up to her?
Because I didn't actually know what was damaged on the car until I actually looked at it.
But you saw him beating on your car.
Right.
You saw her son beating on your car. His mother is right there.
Right.
You don't say to his mother, I saw your son. He was just beating on my car. If there was nothing wrong with your car, you still want to tell a parent that you saw her son beating your car.
Okay.
So go ahead. What happens after that?
Her son had came back from the park, and I asked him what was he hitting the car with. He came up with all types of stories. First, he wasn't back there, or he was at he was in the neighbor's yard, or he was just getting a scooter. He kept changing his story. So I called Sherry back, and I asked her, I said, when were you coming home? She said, I'll be home in a couple of hours. I waited for her to come. She didn't come back home until the next day. I had to work the next day. While I was at work, 10 minutes before I got off, she sent this note saying that she didn't know if her son did it or not, but if he did, she was sorry, and she didn't have no money to pay for it. When I came home, I asked her if she could come outside so we can discuss the issue and that she can look at the damage that was done to my car. She was refusing to come out, just kept brushing it off, saying that she felt sick. So I was like, well, if you won't come out, I'm gonna call the police and just file, police report that your son damaged the car.
And I said, do it.
And she didn't say anything. I did that. And then when she got served with papers, then she wants to come and talk to me like, I will do the best I can. When I get the money, I'll try to pay you.
Ma'am?
That's a lie. Her boyfriend approached me the day that I got served with the papers. And he was like, go talk to Tasha. I'm like, there's nothing else to talk about. I didn't got served with the papers. We just gonna go to court. However it go, it go. And
anything before that though?
Before
being served with the papers, any discussion?
Oh, before being served with the papers, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My daughter called me and told me she had called her peoples over there and they were outside waiting on me so she can fight me once I got there.
Stories.
We didn't make it back home until 2 o'clock in the morning. Anyways, the next day I came outside and I looked at the dents. She showed me the dents. I said, this right here. She was like, yeah. And I'm looking at them and I said, well, there's scratches everywhere these dents are. She said, oh, that was there way before now. I said, so how do you know my son did that? And furthermore, you're telling me that my son did these dents. Any person in their right mind, if somebody is outside banging on your car, you're gonna come outside and see what's going on, or you're gonna holler out the window and say, what is you doing? Get away from my car.
We went over all that. All right, go ahead.
But her story didn't change 3 times already.
She gonna stick with the story she gave me.
Okay. First, she told me she was watching TV. Then it was the shower thing. That's what her boyfriend told me. Then it was the reason why she didn't come to me right away is because she had to make sure her boyfriend didn't do it first.
Oh, really? To make sure he didn't do it first. Did you tell her that?
No, I didn't.
Right.
And you didn't come the next day to look
to me.
She did not come the next day to look at the car. She came after the papers were served to her. That's when she came.
Already?
No, it did not. It has one little scratch on it, and it probably came from her when he dented up the car. I said, I don't know where the scratch came from.
She told me.
Hold on. You told her you didn't know where the scratch came from?
It's one scratch that's underneath.
No, but did you tell her you didn't know where it came from?
I said, I don't know where that scratch come from. I said, it's probably from whatever he hit it with. That's what I said.
Now you told her you didn't know where it's from. Show me the scratches and the pictures.
Okay, I had...
The scratch and what you said you didn't know where it came from.
It doesn't show the scratches because it wasn't
really a
scratch.
Did you know where the dents came from? Did you know where the dents came from?
Yes, I saw her son do it.
So you knew where the dents came from, but you didn't know where the scratch came from.
It is a scratch, but it's a dirty scratch.
And you said you don't know where it came from.
Exactly.
But you know he dented it.
Yes, I saw him do it.
So the scratch didn't come from him.
I don't know. It might.
But you know that he dented it.
Yes, I do. Because he was banging on the car. You could hear it upstairs. That's how I had to look out the window because I heard him.
Okay, so the scratch wouldn't have come from him then. Your story doesn't make sense. You're not sure. You had that woman right there in front of you after you saw her son banging on your car and you didn't say a word to her. She drove off. That is unreasonable and unbelievable. And I'm not going to grant you a judgment. Your counterclaim for defamation is for what?
It's for her. I don't know if this really happened, but my daughter told me while she was outside on the phone with me, she had me on speakerphone. So everybody in our little area right there was out there listening to what me and her talking about. Now it seems like every time something happens in the neighborhood, somebody's knocking on my door. Well, did your kids do this? And did your kids do that?
Well, I don't conclude that that's defamation, ma'am, because she suspects that it happened. Your claim is dismissed. You have not proven your case. Yours is dismissed also. I don't conclude that that's defamation. Have a good day.
You too.
You don't want me to say what I want to say to her right now on the real. A bunch of lies?
It was a bunch of lies.
You did a bunch of lies.
It was a bunch of lies.
I can't pick because I went out. You went out and drinking the day before, and then you talking about you ain't had no drink. You didn't want to come out because you ain't had no money to buy your kids no food.
It doesn't matter.
On the real.
They was eating.
Okay,
You're the one party every day.
I don't party every day. You be gone every day. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I can't prove it.
Prove it.
I can't prove it. But you did so much lying.
Hi, Judge Mathis. I'm Rachel. I have a question for you. What are consequential damages?
Rachel, consequential damages are losses suffered as an indirect result of another's wrongful action. For example, if a salon owner incurs expenses from a fire caused when a person yanks a curling iron from an outlet, those expenses are consequential damages.